Most health coaches are struggling to even get started in their business, not because they're not qualified as a coach, but because they don't know what to do. And they're wasting precious time focusing on the wrong things. They think they need a fancy website or a perfectly branded Instagram or months of content planning before they even get started. And that false belief is keeping you stuck, broke, and the best kept secret. And the truth is, you do not need more time to get ready to start. You just need three specific things. And if you have them, you can get started on your health coaching business today and start helping real clients without spinning your wheels for months or years. Now, these three things are critical to your business. It's like a three-legged stool. Missing even one of these and your business can't stand. And most health coaches have none of them. So their business literally does not have a leg to stand on, leaving you in this endless loop of frustration and procrastination. So the first thing you must have is an offer. Most of the health coaches that I speak to every day that come across our desk looking for help don't have a single paying client. And when I ask them, if your ideal client came to you tomorrow, how much would you charge? How would you work with them? They have no idea. And that is a good reason why they don't have any paying clients. Or if they do have an idea, it's a vague idea and they're trading time for money. And you're not going to want to do that if you're wanting to build a significant practice. So the first thing we have to figure out is, what are you offering? Businesses are in place because they solve problems. So what problem do you solve? So there's three parts to crafting your offer. The first is a niche. We got to know who you help and what you help them with. The next thing that we have to know is, how are you helping them? And that could be a signature program. And then we want to know is, what is the price? How is that framed? So let's start with who you're helping. So here's where you're going to want to grab a notebook and a pen, and we're going to go through this together. It is really important to have a niche. If you are a doctor at the hospital, like I was, I don't have to have a niche, because we had months-long waiting lists of patients coming to see us. They know where we are. We're at the hospital. But as a health coach, nobody knows really what a health coach does, why they would want one, and where to find you. And so we can't just say that we're a health coach. If people are looking for help with their health, they're going to their doctor. They're not going to find you at your home behind your computer. So we need you to stand out from the crowd. And now the truth is, the one thing that you are the world's leading expert in is you. You are the absolute best in the world at being you, and we can leverage that. So the type of niche that I like to have people create is called a purpose-driven expert niche. And what is that? So that is the intersection between those things that light you up, that feel so fun to do. You would help people with this even if they didn't pay you. Your purpose. And then there's those things that you're really good at. You have a track record in. You just have an expertise in it. And the intersection of that sweet spot, is your purpose-driven expert niche. So how do we find that for you? One of the things that's helpful is we take our clients through a story gold mining process. And we work through their story, because what I know for sure, having helped so many people, both health coaches, but when I was a health coach, when I would listen to my clients, every one of them had a story, and you have a story too. And in that story, we can mine it for the gold that is always there. So something that's helpful as we mine your story is really to look back on your life and look at, what do you have an expertise in? Make a list right now. Do you have an expertise in weight loss, improving gut health? Sometimes people have gotten their mom off rheumatoid arthritis meds, or they've been able to get themselves off diabetes meds. What are some things that you have a track record in that you know how to do? Then I also want you to think back upon your life onto those rock bottom turning point moments. Maybe it was a divorce, maybe it was a diagnosis. What was it where your life was going along, something happened, a rock bottom or a turning point or a pivotal moment, and then your life went into a new trajectory? And then what led up to it? What were the problems that you had, the situation that you had that led up to that turning point moment, that last straw? And then what changed? What did you do? Write down, how old were you? Were you single? Were you married? What was the scenario? What was your demographic? Where were you living? Just kind of write that snapshot of where you were before. What changed? What did you do? And write down like all the things that you did to get that improvement. There might be 10 things that you did. And then what was the result? What was the improvement that you had? Did you have greater energy, better endurance, decreased inflammation, pain-free, people have gone from being paralyzed to not paralyzed. What were some of the things that happened before and after? So we want a problem list that you had before, and we want a solution list, a dream come true list, as I call it, that you had as a result after. Sometimes your niche is inspired by a previous career. So one of our clients was a neurologist, and then so she helps people with brain health. So those type of things happen, or there'll be a physical therapist, and then they help people with musculoskeletal energy, that type of thing. So sometimes you might not have had to condition yourself, but your previous work has led to that calling. So I really want you to look at, who do you help? It'll start with an age range, but I really want you to bring it into a specific age. And it could be the same age going through the same thing that you went through when you had your rock bottom moment. It doesn't have to be precise, but there's gold in that story of yours. So let that inspire you. So figure out, who might you like to help? What things can you solve? What problems have you had that you've now been able to solve? You might need to go back 10 years. So some of our clients, I remember when they came, they could help people with all sorts of things. They'd been to IIN and they'd learned so much, and they were struggling to get clients. And I can think of two of these in particular. And in one of these, she couldn't get clients. She could help people with all sorts of things. When we mined her story for the gold that's always there, we realized she'd been in remission from Crohn's for 10 years. Crohn's was so 10 years ago. And so that is something that she actually is really good at. But it wasn't top of mind because it was a problem she'd solved for herself a decade before. So as we coned in on that, she stood out from the crowd. At one point, she had a client in almost every continent. She had this incredible multiple six, now on track to seven-figure practice. Incredible. So that's the value of coning down. Now, here's the thing, because I know people don't want to leave anybody out and you want to help everybody and you end up helping nobody. Cone down your niche. That's just to attract them, because here's what's going to set your little healing heart feeling better. Even though you cone down your niche, you can help whoever you darn well want to. So if you're in a conversation, and we'll talk about that coming up, if you're in a conversation with someone and they want your help, you know how to help them, and they want that help right now, by all means offer to help them. Because the truth is, the body's the miracle that will heal itself if we give it half a chance. 85% of all of our clients in all their various niches, from brain injury to multiple sclerosis to IBS to Crohn's to you name it, 85% of their programs and processes that help their clients improve are identical. It's not like, oh, you have this disease. It's okay. You can stress yourself out. Oh, you have that disease. That's okay. You get to have the junk food with that one. That's not how it works. And when you decrease inflammation, it helps everything. Go narrow. One of my clients, Elizabeth, she was struggling for 10 years as a health coach before she came to us. 10 years helping people here and there for free. She'd been a nurse for, I think, 25 years. but she was struggling for a decade as a health coach. And she could help everybody with everything. But as soon as we narrowed down her niche to nurses with cervical dystonia, boom, she was on track to six figures. Now, the thing is, only about half of her clients actually have cervical dystonia. So once they realize that, wow, you can help people get out of that neck pain and mobility, you can help them. Maybe you could help me. I don't have that, but maybe you could help me. And you know what happens? Your clients, potential clients, come begging you for help. Well, that really helps us because we don't like going out and selling ourselves as health coaches. So there's power in what I call a purpose-driven expert niche. How you're going to help people go from their point A, their problems that they have, to their point B, their dream come trues, the solutions that you can deliver, that process is called a signature program. And the reason we want it to be a signature program is we want a repeatable process that you can walk people through and get predictable, repeatable results. When you deliver excellent results, that leads to testimonials, that leads to word getting out and leads to referrals, which really starts to have your business get momentum without even any tech at all. So really important to create a process, but look back to what you went through as inspiration. You'll also find other videos here on this channel and on this podcast on how to carve out your purpose-driven expert niche, how to create a signature program if you're wanting more help with any of those. Start general, orient them. I have a video on how to onboard them like a pro, how to orient them right from the get-go, because it's really important. Start with the basics. Don't overwhelm this exhausted, burnt out person. Keep the basics. Have them drink water, get the basic nutrition in, basic sleep schedule down. Just keep it simple. Set up your next appointments. Okay, so starting with the basics and then gradually adding in more complexity as they master it. So you're going to walk them through and meet them where they're at. I generally like to keep it small to start, like 3 months. People tend to get distracted. We tend to work in trimesters, seasons change, and so do we. Our interests change. So people can focus for about 90 days. And so that's a really nice time frame. But it's certainly, you can adjust that, but that's what we found works extremely well for people when they're getting started. The other piece of the offer is how you're going to price it. It does depend on if you're brick and mortar, if you're online. I really like online because it gives you the maximum freedom. You can work with who you want, when you want, from where you want, how you want. I love health coaching for this. It's the ultimate in freedom. I really like that. Most of our six-figure health coaches work on average 3 days a week, and they get to take plenty of holidays. If they had a brick and mortar location, they wouldn't be able to do that. So there's some definite advantages, especially if you have a family or you like to travel, really important. So virtual, totally fine, but sometimes you can leverage an existing brick and mortar practice because people might be already coming in there. So that's really helpful. You may have been given some suggested pricing from your school that you went to become a coach. You can use that definitely as a starting spot. Don't go too cheap in your price or free, because when you give things for free, it really is a nod to your people-pleasing tendency. You're like wanting to give it for free so that they will like you and think you're nice and generous. But meanwhile, they won't actually implement it. And I only know that because I was queen of free. I offered it all for free. And eventually, I had to realize I had to stop killing people with my kindness. I had to not worry about my people pleasing. And I had to charge not exorbitantly, but appropriately. So somewhere in the $1,000 to $1,500 range for 3 months is a good ballpark. There are people charging much higher and there are people charging less. The best thing is to set, what do you want to earn? What do you need to earn to support your family in order for you to be able to do this type of work as your soul satisfying work? And then work back and create a business plan that meets that without burning you out. But that's a good starting spot. Okay, so now we've got this offer. So we have a we have the basics of your offer. We know who you're helping, the basics of how you're helping them. And if somebody came tomorrow, you could offer them a 3-month program and you could charge them $1,000 or something like that. Got it. Okay, the second part of our three-legged stool, we have the offer. Now, how do we attract people to our offer? So at the hospital, it was easy. We had patients coming in, but the thing that I didn't realize when I became a health coach, I thought I just went holistic. I didn't know I'd just become an entrepreneur. So here I was, same credentials, same alphabet soup of degrees behind my name as I did at the hospital with the lineup and months of waiting list of patients. And as a health coach, where was everybody? They're gone. So you might also be feeling like the best kept secret. We got to change that. So the second leg of that three-legged stool is a client attraction system. We must have a way to attract clients. Now, we can go from the very basics to the fancy pantsy marketing funnels next level. But don't underestimate the basics. And you can't skip over the basics. Great news, you can start today without any fancy tech. And so, absolutely, I use fancy bells and whistles, and my clients, as they go through, they have that. But when I was a health coach, I built my entire practice on power statement. The power statement has a basic formula, and I'll share it with you here. And then we're going to create yours, at least a preliminary version today, so that you can get started and start helping people. So I want you to say, I help. And then the next set is ideal client. So who was that person that we had in our offer? Who is the ideal client? And then I help ideal client with ideal client problem get dream come true so they can bonus benefit. That's the formula for the statement. So now let's just fill in the blanks based on what we know from step one. So I help busy moms with, what do you help them with? I help busy moms, you could say with Crohn's. You could say I help single moms lose weight, get their energy back so they can be a great role model for their kids. You want to fill in the blanks. I help single diabetic dads lose weight and balance their blood sugars so they know what to eat and what to do so they can be a great role model for their kids. Something like that. I help executive women balance their hormones and reset their metabolism so they can lose weight without dieting. So I help, who is it? Executive women, single diabetic dads, people with Crohn's. And you can lean into your uniqueness. So sometimes that uniqueness is a gender, women. Sometimes it is a role, mom, teachers, nurses, doctors, it's a role. Sometimes it's an ethnicity. I help Latino women, or it could be a religion. I help Jewish women. And the great thing about coning it down is within your community, you speak a language. So there might be certain foods, there might be certain exercises, there might be certain holidays, there might be certain things that you and your particular community know about. And that has you stand out as their health coach. They want you because you're one of them. And you know their real struggles. Somebody who's had Crohn's is going to be able to serve someone with Crohn's better. So the gastroenterologist can say, hey, you should not eat the pizza. And the patient's going to say, that's not fair. You eat pizza. That's not fair. What do you know? But somebody who has been through it, they can say from compassion and knowing, I know how you feel. I know you want the pizza, but that gluten and that dairy, It might feel good for a moment, but it's going to cause that bloating. It's going to cause you to be doubled over. It's going to have a painful flare. You might need surgery. It's not worth it. But here's what I found was delicious that works instead, that helps with that craving. And they know that that person knows what they're talking about and that they're going to get those results. So you know, because of what you know, how to help somebody. And so lean into that narrowness of who you help. But of course, accept anyone on a call. We're going to get to that next, who wants to come. So that power statement is, I call it a power statement. A lot of people call it an elevator pitch, but the way I have it, it is super narrow. And I get pushback from my clients all the time. And I guarantee you right now, your niche is not narrow enough. It is not narrow enough. And also, you'll ask your friends, and you might ask other health coaches who are also broke, and they will say, oh no, you can't go that narrow. I'm telling you, you gotta. If you have 1 million followers and if you have $1 million in ad budget, you do not need to go narrow. But if you don't have those things, and the people that I help are usually going from zero income and zero impact, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get them to six-figure income and six-figure impact, the only way we can do that, if we're starting from nothing, go narrow on your niche. As a radiologist, I used to help do ultrasounds of carotid arteries. And so your carotid artery, we had to look at it for narrowing. And how did we look at it for narrowing? Is we looked at and measured the velocity of the blood flow through there. And so the narrower the vessel, the more plaque there, the more risk of stroke that people had, the narrower the vessel, the faster the velocity. Same thing with the niche. The narrower your niche, the faster the stream of clients flowing to you. And that's exactly what you want. So if you've been trying to help everybody with everything, you might have seen that nothing's moving. There's nobody coming. Go narrow. The other advantage of going really narrow is people don't think you're trying to sell them, because you're not. People don't think you're trying to target and attack them. So if you say you help single diabetic dads lose weight and balance their blood sugar and be a great role model for their kids, someone might say, I'm not diabetic, but can I come in? I want to lose weight and get energy. Or someone else might say, I'm not a single dad, I'm a single mom. Can I come in? Or I'm diabetic, but I don't have kids. Can I come in? And all of a sudden, from that one statement, we have people who are single or married, diabetic or not diabetic, wanting to lose weight, not wanting to lose weight, wanting energy. Everybody is resonating with something in there. Your power statement is really the tip of the iceberg. It is the shortest way that you can articulate what you do in a way that your ideal client can hear it. It's really important. You want to stay away from fluffy words like feeling connected, living your best life. Nobody's paying for that. All right. Loving yourself. Yes, you're going to help them do all that. That's not what they're looking for. What you need to talk about is what they are looking for. What do they want? So you might want to help them love themselves, but they're looking for weight loss. So you have to let them know you help them lose weight if you do. And how you do that? By helping them love themselves. You have to speak their language. What is the problem they are laying awake at night thinking they have, that they are wanting to solve? And if they're looking to solve this problem and you know how to solve the problem, we have a match. You might know that in order for someone to lose weight, they got to love themselves. You know, you may have struggled through all the fad diets and all of the extreme exercising, and finally you just ate foods that you love, that loved you back. You moved your body in ways that you loved, and you loved yourself, and the weight fell off. And so if you're saying, hey, my program is helping you love yourself, the person who's coming to you is like, love myself. Everybody in the world knows, everybody I know knows I'm not lovable. They've always told me I'm not lovable. I'm going over here for some weight loss. Or they might say, love myself. Of course, I love myself. That's why I'm going to join this person's weight loss program over here. So you don't want to spray client repellent all over the place with the flowery words. Save that for inside your program. Once you're with your clients, you'll all start to speak the same language. But in order to attract clients, we have to be very clear and simple. Grade 8 or grade 3 actually is even better, like 8-year-old language, as simple as you can make the language so that somebody could instantly repeat what you said. But if you have a long paragraph that nobody can repeat, well, nobody's repeating and telling you about what you do to someone else. But when you say it really clearly and precisely, you'll have people say, hey, I just met somebody who helps someone with lupus. I just met someone who helps somebody with Sjogren's. And even though they might not have the condition that you have as you're speaking to them, they can't unhear what you just said. And then the next day or the next month, and they meet someone, they're going to make a connection because it stands out. Somebody may never have heard of cervical dystonia before. You mention it. Maybe they have pain, maybe they want help anyways, or maybe not. But anytime, guaranteed, they ever meet somebody who has cervical dystonia, they're like, there's that thing again. I know someone who specializes. I'm going to send you to Lisbeth. So then you've created a little army of people promoting what you do. But if it's like this long soliloquy, or even worse, a resume, well, I used to be a nurse, and then I did Reiki, and then I did massage, and then I did acupuncture, and then I did some other energy healing, and I'm a yogi, and I did this, and then I did that, and now I'm a health coach, and I love health coaching, and I really like helping people with their gut health, because gut health, oh my goodness, have you seen the toxins that are there? And oh my gosh, don't get me started on genetically modified foods. We lost them. We lost them. Make it tight, make it specific. I help these people with this problem get this dream come true. Boom. And then you can say that one sentence with confidence. So once you have your sentence down, write it on a cue card, a post-it note, paste it everywhere, say it 100 times. It has to roll off your tongue. Shorter the better. Eliminate the fancy words. Anything confusing, just keep it super clear. Fun fact, all of our 6-figure health coaches reach 6 figures without a single dime of paid advertising. That's almost unheard of in this world. But what do? Leaned into their power statement. All right, so we've got the first pillar is the offer. We know who we help, what we're helping them with. And then we talk about client attraction. So we know how to articulate it. What is the third and final leg? Okay, so we have what we do, what we offer. We've attracted people to it. Now we got to bridge the gap. How do we get the people that we've attracted to our offer and into our, what I like to call, container of transformation? And so that third pillar is the sales system. You have to have a way to bring people from interest into action. So we've attracted them, they're interested. Now we want them to take the step and step into your signature program, your container of transformation, so that we can actually help them go from their problem, their point A, to their dream come true, point B. So good to be able to do that. So most healers are great teachers. So they love to heal, they love to teach, and they suck at sales. Nobody wants to be salesy. Because we've all been on the receiving end of that, and it's not gone well. So what I like to teach is a diagnostic sales system. So what you're really wanting to do is, as you're speaking with people and you want to get on a quick call with people and you want to find out and listen, be more interested in them than trying to be interesting. Find out more about what their problem is than trying to describe what your program is. I tell my clients, put $1 in the swear jar every time you mention the word program. Ideally, they don't even know that you have a program. It's not about you. We want to find out about them. It's like a diagnostic session where you find out what are they struggling with? What are their questions? What are their problems? It's very much built off of what we did as a doctor, as a radiologist. So as a doctor, there's somebody comes in with an entrance complaint. What's their complaint? What's their problem that they think they have? So you bring someone in, you find out, so they come in and you're talking to them. Let's say that you say, I help, busy moms lose weight, regain their energy, so they can chase after their kids, so they can be a great role model for their kids, something like that. You have your power statement. And it's not uncommon if you have your right power statement for people to say, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I need. So then you can have them hop on a call and find out more. Don't get into it there. You don't want to get into it there in the moment. And in other videos, I go into the more details, but you want to book an appointment. You want to be a professional, but it can be very quick, but it's going to be later. So even later that day, it's got to be not there in the moment, because you will have a tendency to go on and on and on and try to cure them in the moment without ever giving them an opportunity to tell you what's really going on. And it's not appropriate for them to talk about their bowel habits and so on at the grocery store, at the cocktail party. It's not appropriate. Be a professional. If you're going to chit chat like gossipy friends, then that's how they will pay you. They will never become your client that way. Set up a quick call. In this session, you start off with entrance complaint. What is the challenge? Tell me about what's going on. And you want to figure out where they are, where do they want to be? What's the problem? Now, when they have a problem, we want to get down to the root cause. If they come to you with knee pain, underneath that is inflammation, and underneath that might be obesity, stress. There's another root cause. So we don't want to just put a Band-Aid on. We want to get to the root cause. We do the same thing. People come to us with no clients as the entrance complaint. What's the root cause? Get down to it. No niche. They don't have a niche, or they don't have a client attraction system, or they don't have a sales system. So we get to the root cause, and then we can address the root cause. So you look at what's their problem, what's the root cause of that problem. You can just, and how do you do that? You just go say, tell me more about that. You're not going to cure it, solve it here, but you're going to try and find out as much information so that you're like, okay, I think I know what's going on. You don't have to have it all the way there, but you want to have an idea as to what's going on, and might this be within your scope of practice. So we've got the problem, the root cause of that problem. What are the consequences of having that problem? The extra knee pain means they can't play tennis and they love tennis. The extra weight means they stay inside and they don't go out with their friends because they feel self-conscious. What is the consequence? Sometimes the consequence is they're like on expensive medication for a long time. And then what's the objective? Where are we trying to get to? What did they want? Don't you tell them. They get to want what they want. What do they want? What's the objective? Where are we trying to get to? And then what's the solution? And then find out from them what is their best idea to get from where they are now to where they want to be. And listen to them with open ears. Find out what they've tried, but what is their best idea to get there? Because if they don't join you, they're going to be left with their best idea. And you also want to know, how badly do they want this? So maybe, I want to lose weight, but it's no big deal. I'll just put a bigger shirt or wear black. I'm fine. Or somebody else might really want it. So how serious are they about changing this? No judgment, just how serious are they? They get to determine how serious they are at this moment. How soon do they want these results? And what's their best idea? Because as I said, if you're not helping them, if they don't go with you, that's their next idea. And most of the people that come across our desk have no idea. how to get there. If they have another idea, let them do that. Why do we want them to do something else first? Why don't we want to push them on our idea? Anybody know? Pop in the comments if you know. Why would you not take the sale? Why would you not even offer it? Why would you definitely not tell them how much your program is if you're not inviting them? Why would you not do that? Because if they have another idea and you convince them to do your idea, the whole time that you're trying to help them, they're thinking, I should have probably done that other thing. I should have probably just done the gym. I should have probably just done the Weight Watchers. I should have probably just done that. That would have been cheaper and that would have worked. So, what I love about health coaches is that we're the last hope they have. By the time they come to us, they've already been to all the doctors, they've done all the medications, they've done all the surgeries, they've done everything, they've done all the diets, they've done all of the gyms, and they're still not anywhere. So they literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. They have not been able to figure it out with any of the tools or options open. And so, you know what that does? When they're in with you, they focus because this is their last hope. So, we want them to do the other thing because otherwise you don't want that other thing to be the fish that got away that they wish that they'd have done. You want you to be the thing they wish they would have done. And they come back with a much better perspective and they will appreciate that you didn't arm twist and sell them into it. Having that sales conversation is critically important. It is the vehicle for you to be actually able to help someone. It's a skill that you get better with over time. I recommend that you approach those calls from a place of love. One last tip on this third pillar. Every time I did a sales call, before I did those calls, I always said this, and you can use your version of this. Intention is so powerful. So I would say, I ask and you can say divine, higher self, God, source, you fill in the blanks for you. Be here with me now so that I may think, speak, and act from a place of love. I ask that love is the guiding force that guides me to the ideal clients. Please place those I'm meant to serve in front of me, and may I see them clearly, and may we connect for the most joyful experience. And then I'm detached from outcome. And then I always have a good time. Whether I invite them or not, whether they join us or not, I always leave them better than I found them, and I emerge better for having that connection as well. Very enjoyable. Lead with love. That's my philosophy, is lead with love. No hard sales. So we want to have the offer. We want to have a way to attract clients. And then we want to know how to bring those people that we've attracted into our program. And when you have all three, you have a thriving, successful business. And you are already started today. I want to congratulate you. Pop in the comments what you love about this. Tell me your power statements. Tell me your niches. I'd love to hear about it, but be sure to check out this next video about mastering the art of sales. Be good for you.